Please don't let my son find this.
That's how the letter from my mother-in-law, Scarlett, began. It arrived a week after she passed away. Scarlett had tormented me ever since I married her son. I despised her. What could she possibly want from me now? But as I read on, I discovered her unexpected true feelings. And when I opened the safe at the indicated location with the unclosed key, I was utterly shocked. My name is Emily Turner. I am 35 years old and work for a company. As I grew older, my friends and colleagues were getting married one after another. I was feeling anxious about being left behind when I met John through a friend's introduction. We were the same age and bonded over shared hobbies. He asked me out, and we soon got engaged. John, who had been living with his parents, moved into my apartment, and we started our newlywed life. We both worked and shared household chores and expenses equally. Despite our busy work days, our time together at the dinner table each night became my sanctuary.
By the way, are you free this Saturday?
Oh, it's about your mother, isn't it? The moment that topic came up, it felt like the warm meal turned cold. Apparently, my feelings showed because John furrowed his brow immediately.
I'm sorry. My mom has made you feel uncomfortable in so many ways.
No, don't worry about it, John. I tried to appear calm while letting out a huge sigh in my heart. John's parents lived nearby, and his father had passed away before our marriage, leaving his mother alone. However, the relationship between me and her was anything but good.
How can you be so rude at 35? What kind of upbringing did you have? My Tom is much better behaved.
She sneered at me while petting her dog after I nervously spilled tea during our first meeting.
You are not suitable for my son. I am against this marriage.
She declared, making me feel utterly hopeless. But John came to my rescue.
No matter what you say, I will marry her. I love Emily.
He declared firmly in front of her, and I was deeply moved by his words. Despite her opposition, we got married. However, her interference had a significant impact on my newlywed life.
With a daughter-in-law like Emily, John is pitiful. I will properly educate you, so come to my house on your days off.
She started summoning me to her house almost every week. John would accompany me but often locked himself in another room, saying he was sorting through his father's belongings, leaving me alone with his mother. She made me do household chores and criticized everything I did.
Hey, Emily, the kitchen is dirty.
Oh, I was just about to clean it.
The stew you made is too salty and tastes bad. How many times do I have to teach you? Training Tom was much easier.
I'm sorry.
Honestly, you're useless at everything. And on top of that, you're neither young nor beautiful. What on earth did John see in you to marry you?
With these heartless words coming one after another, I gradually became exhausted.
Don't worry, my mom just doesn't see your good qualities yet. I'll protect you, so don't worry.
On the way home from his parents' house, John always reassured me like this. That's why I wanted to repair my relationship with his mother, so I started visiting her on my own during my days off. However, Scarlett's attitude remained stubbornly unchanged. I also tried my best, forcing myself to smile awkwardly. Scarlett, how about living with us? Our apartment allows pets.
Live together? No way. I have this dog, and I'd rather live alone than with you.
She said this while petting her golden retriever, and I could only bite my lip. I had invited her to live with us several times, but each time she refused because of me. To others, We must have looked like a very contentious mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. At first, I tried to give it my all. However, no matter how much I tried to reach out, her cold attitude only escalated. I tried hard, thinking I must have shortcomings, but I eventually realized it was just her bullying me.
You're a disgrace to this family. Get divorced immediately.
When she finally said that, I reached my breaking point. I began to hate her and reduced my visits to her house, interacting with her only when necessary. However, just as I had come to terms with my relationship with her, John's attitude began to change 3 months into our marriage.
Damn it. Why is it always me?
Apparently, things weren't going well at work for him. He started taking out his frustrations on me and on objects around the house. That day, after finishing a phone call with his boss, he suddenly smashed the matching mugs we had bought while dating onto the floor. As I picked up the shattered pieces with a sigh, I thought, why has it come to this? Where did the kind John go? Around this time, John's outbursts became a daily occurrence. The first time I saw him like that, I was paralyzed with fear and couldn't move. He even broke the music box we bought on a date and a $1,000 Baccarat glass. But I couldn't say anything back, because once, when I scolded him for his behavior, he threw me out of the house. I had no choice but to wait for him to let me back in, banging on the locked door. The fear of that moment stayed with me, and I could only endure in silence until his rage passed.
Humph. I'm bored. I'm going shopping.
What? Again? You went yesterday and the day before.
Shut up. Stop telling me what to do.
But you haven't given me this month's living expenses yet.
I've already spent it all.
At the beginning of our marriage, he gave me part of his salary, but now he spends it all on his hobby of collecting branded goods, leaving our household finances in dire straits. John, who had been pampered by his parents before marriage, had no sense of money. I explained to him that living costs money, but he couldn't grasp it, having grown up spoiled.
If you need money so badly, go earn more yourself. Useless.
He insulted me harshly, left the messy living room, and didn't come back that night. Left alone, I cleaned up the room and found myself in tears. I had no idea he was this kind of person. I regretted my poor choice in men, but it was too late to change anything. I wanted to have a proper talk with him to improve our situation, but it didn't seem like the right time to suggest it. Even if I wanted to talk to someone, his mother wouldn't listen. Feeling hopeless, I began to think about divorce, even though we had only been married for a short time. Then, just as I started considering it, an incident occurred. What? Scarlett. I immediately left work early when I saw the message from John, because Scarlett, who had been walking her dog Tom just days ago, had suddenly passed away. I never managed to get along with her until the end. Even though I hated her, the thought that she was gone filled me with sadness and regret, wondering if there was something more I could have done. When I arrived at the hospital, John was by her side, trembling with grief. She had slipped on the stairs, hit her head hard, and passed away. In shock, John was unable to do anything, so I took care of all the funeral arrangements. I was busy running around during the wake and the funeral, trying to make up for the guilt I felt towards Scarlett. John only managed to give the eulogy. During the funeral, while the priest was chanting, he even seemed to doze off. Yet, he casually told his mother's relatives about the bad relationship between me and his mother. As a result, I spent the whole time feeling the cold stares from those around me, like I was on pins and needles, unable to properly say goodbye to her. Then, the day after the funeral, John suddenly handed me divorce papers.
Divorce me.
What? Still unable to process his mother's death, I was shocked when he thrust the divorce papers at me.
I only married you for the money. But now, with my mom's inheritance, I don't need you anymore.
I was stunned by this unexpected revelation. You never cared about me, but you said you loved me.
What? That was a lie, obviously. Who in their right mind would marry an ugly old hag like you?
That's awful.
Humph, who's the awful one here? I thought you'd have a lot of money saved up since you're older, but you're a cheapskate. I was totally fooled.
He looked at me with disdain as if looking at something disgusting. Deeply hurt by his shocking words, I could only stand there, stunned.
So, sign this and mail it to my parents' house. I'm leaving.
John left the apartment and never returned. Left alone, I couldn't stop the tears from flowing as I tried to process everything. A week after the funeral. With John gone, my routine returned to normal, and I went back to work. While at work, I was busy enough to forget the unpleasant things. In those hectic days, I began to think positively about the divorce. It feels like it was all pain, but I'll just forget and start over. But right after I made that decision, an unexpected event occurred. Returning from work one day, I found a letter in the mailbox. Seeing the sender, I gasped. A letter from Scarlett? And it's addressed to me? Surprised that it was sent to me instead of John, I opened it cautiously. This can't be real. No way. As I read the letter, I began to tremble in fear.
Please, don't let my son find this.
The letter began with those words and contained shocking revelations, along with a key. It also included an address, and I rushed out to the specified location. It was a bank safety deposit box. Using the password and key from the letter, I opened the box and discovered a startling truth. It seems what's written in the letter is true. I need to get the evidence. To get what Scarlett had left behind, I went to her house.
What do you want? Did you bring the divorce papers?
I'll send them later. I was worried about Tom and came to check on him. The dog, left alone, was sulking in Scarlett's room, but when he saw me, he wagged his tail and ran over. It seemed he hadn't been properly cared for, as his fur was in poor condition. Can I take this dog home with me? The letter from Scarlett also said,
Please take care of Tom.
so I asked John,
Perfect timing. I was thinking of dumping him in the mountains later.
can I take Tom's toilet and toys too? I said, suppressing my rising anger. John was delighted.
Yeah, take it all as a parting gift. Take everything.
While moving Tom's things to the car, I also retrieved the evidence his mother had hidden and left their house. Back home, I immediately checked what I had found and was overwhelmed with tears when I realized why she had died so suddenly. Oh, Scarlett, how frustrated you must have been. I will avenge your regret. Shaking with anger, I firmly swore to myself to punish the culprit. 2 days later, I called John to our apartment, having prepared everything. Despite the recent funeral, John showed up in flashy brand name clothes and expensive looking accessories. How did you buy those?
Oh, with Mom's savings.
His words sparked my anger. I advanced the funeral costs for your mother,
That's the wife's job, isn't it?
he said with a sneer, clearly having no intention of paying me back. I clenched my fists and decided to confront him with the truth. I got a letter from your mom. It had a key to a bank safety deposit box. Do you know what was inside? John's previously arrogant demeanor vanished, and his face turned pale.
It can't be.
Seems like you know. I pulled out my phone and showed him pictures of the contents of the deposit box.
It was there. I've been looking for it.
The box contained the deed to their house and other assets.
Hey, those are mine. Where are they? Give them back.
John, eyes bulging, approached me menacingly. Sorry, I can't. Your mom's will explicitly stated that you are not to get any of the inheritance.
What? Why?
You know exactly why. I showed him a copy of the letter from his mother. Your father died while fishing with you, right? According to the letter, a few days before the accident, John had asked his father for money due to debts from his extravagant purchases. His father refused and cut ties with him. Shortly after, his father died under suspicious circumstances, and John and his mother inherited his assets. Your mom suspected that you killed your father for the inheritance.
That's a lie. Everything in that letter is a lie.
John shouted, tearing the letter into pieces, despite it being just a copy.
There's no way Mom would leave something so important to you. You two were always at each other's throats.
That's not true. She was worried about me. Yes, his mother had been cold to me to protect me from John. Knowing her son's true nature, she had been harsh to make me consider divorce. Her letter was filled with apologies, gratitude, and a heartfelt wish for my happiness. Your mom was truly kind and just, and yet you killed her for the inheritance. Tears streamed down my face as I spoke, but John looked at me with a cold, mocking smile.
You're delusional. Snap out of it.
Sorry, but I'm not mistaken. Your mom left evidence on a camera, and I have it right here. I told him that I had obtained the evidence. It was also written in the letter from Scarlett. After squandering his father's inheritance, John had started demanding money from his mother. Fearing for her safety, she had set up video cameras all around the house. I secretly retrieved them when I went to pick up Tom. When I reviewed the footage, I was horrified. The video showed a heated argument between the two, and then John pushing his mother down the stairs. John repeatedly smashed his pleading Scarlett's head against the floor at the bottom of the stairs, a scene so brutal it made you want to look away. And when she finally stopped moving, he grinned maliciously. I can't forgive what you did. But before going to the police, I wanted to hear it from your mouth. Did you also kill your father? Realizing that all the evidence was left behind, John revealed his true nature, glaring at me with a look of pure malice.
Yeah, I pushed my dad into the river.
So you admit it all.
Yeah, I did both of them, but I won't let the police catch me. Now hand over the key to the safe and the video camera.
No, these are the things your mother risked her life to leave. I won't give them to you.
Fine, then I'll just shut you up and look for them later.
John walked toward me with a menacing grin. Stop. Don't commit any more crimes.
Shut up.
In an instant, he grabbed me and put me in a chokehold from behind.
Go to hell, you bitch.
But then, a powerful impact knocked both of us to the ground. I realized Tom had body slammed John to save me. Tom, thank you. I hugged him as he barked in response. However, John, staggering to his feet, was now even more unhinged.
Damn it, you stupid dog. I'll deal with you too.
He grabbed a golf club from the corner of the room. But at that moment, I heard the faint sound of sirens outside.
What? A police car?
Everything you just confessed to, the police heard it all. I held up my phone in front of John. I had secretly called 911 and kept the line open, letting the police listen to everything. John's bravado vanished. He dropped the golf club and fell to his knees, his face pale.
Emily, please. Tell the police it was a mistake. My life will be over.
You killed your own parents. It's too late. Also, I set up a hidden camera in this room too. I'll hand that over to the police as evidence.
No, I just got the money. I can't go to jail.
He started bawling like a child, but I felt no sympathy. I handed all the evidence and John over to the arriving police, watching them leave with Tom by my side. Afterward, John was found guilty of his crimes and sent to prison. He won't ever come out. Our divorce was finalized, and I received $30,000 in alimony and funeral expenses through my lawyer. Scarlett's estate was distributed to her relatives according to her will found in the safe. Surprisingly, she had left money for Tom and me, which I received with an apology from her relatives. After it was all over, I visited my in-laws' grave to report everything.
Thank you.
I felt as if I heard Scarlett saying that. From now on, I will live happily with my beloved Tom.